tips and tricks on Excel. First of all, thank you for your interest. And before starting it, I think good to see the entire undergraduate from different batches joined. So I'm happy to see that, but there is a small challenge to me that some of you may be familiar with some of the functions and keys already, and some of you may be beginners for that. So I thought day one is the very softest one, or the beginner level, and then intermediate and advanced level. But then I thought rethought about it, because then some of you, those who know some of the stuffs, may be boring for the day one. So I was re-strategized that to make it a mix of everything here and there, so that we will learn different things at different places. As Dylan said, I mean, I'm also learning. I mean, every day there are new tips, new learnings, and so I'm. My first comment is everybody learning, but the learning will happen only when your enthusiasm is there. So I think that if you develop that, if you see the need for that, you will definitely learn. So right, so I have sent an email to you all with the workbook, which I couldn't. It takes more than what I expected, so it takes a lot of time to prepare. Rather, because putting on a whiteboard and doing on a lab is much more easier than document it. So I tried to do so, but then could not complete. But anyway, the half-cooked exercise book is shared to you. So we will be using that. So I hope you all have downloaded that and opened it in your desktop or a laptop. Before continuing, are you able to chat? Is the chat enabled? Can somebody say hello or good morning or something? Yes, okay, yeah, right. Okay, so in that case, you can use the chat box or feel free to talk. It's not a formal session. I don't want to have any formal session. It's a interactive session. It should be an interactive session. And ideally, it should be in a laboratory, so that everybody work together, and everybody should complete the task one by one, and then we move on. So here we are joined in a virtual environment, which is a little difficult for me to manage whether you have completed or need more time and so on. We will try our level best within the given time what we can do. So I hope everybody has started your Excel in your desktop and laptop. If you have any extra time, let me know. But we will start now. And also, again, I'm not pressuring you to submit, but I request you to submit so that while we are working, I expect you to work along with me so that at the end of the session, I could be able to get your files also, so that I know that where are you, and so that I can work out the second day accordingly. So for that reason, I would like to have the working file, whether it is completed, perfect, incomplete, doesn't matter. But whatever you have done throughout the session today, at the end of the session, if you can email me back your Excel files, that would be great. I will try my level best to go through all and bring some, if any misconcept or mistakes, we will discuss and correct it then and there, right? So I'm going to share the file. So I hope you also might have got it and opened and gone through some of the sheets over there. Right. hope you can see my screen now. Can you?
Yes, sir.
Right. So you might have received your email as the workbook, and you might have opened it. There are chat boxes. Okay. Okay. So I hope you can see, and the fonts are legible, can read. Right. Let's start with some Excel formulas, and most of you might have know about. So I don't want to spend on this exercise 1, 2, 3 lot, but then I did some background to it. Before moving on, I think some of the keywords or technical terms here, different textbooks and internet resources and other people may use. Usually we call Excel file, but then the technical term for Excel file is a workbook. So what you are seeing on the screen is a workbook, where it's a book with so many different sheets. So the tabs in the bottom are called different sheets. So we call worksheets. So worksheet 1, worksheet 2, worksheet 3, and 4, 5, and so on. You can have many number. The latest version have more capacity than the lowest version. By the way, this the version what I am using is 2016 version. I hope most of you all also may have 2016 version. If anybody have 365 version, you may have little more features than what is here. But don't worry, there is a very minimal or nominal changes over there. So we are not going to cover that today. Right. Some of the few items is, one is the workbook and the worksheet, and then can you see where my cursor is? This is the address bar or a formula bar. This is where we write our formulas and functions and text, and whatever we deal with Excel, we write here. So whatever we write and enter, it goes to the particular cells. And also a little more about Excel is a database, not very powerful SQL and other, but still it's a database. Why it is database? You can store numbers, store some text, and store some queries, and you can maintain it in some structure. So Excel is a database. Also, Excel you can write. Now you can see the question is there, and different definitions are there. So you can write. You don't have a facility like a Word, but still you can write. So it's not only the database, it's also reporting. For reporting facility is also there. So you can use Excel as a reporting tool or calculation tool, or even database tool, whatever you call it, how you want to use, Excel has a power. So among the Office, Microsoft Office, Excel is one of the very famous and popularly used tool. If you go to the industry, some company may have a very sophisticated software, ERPs and SAP and everything. But then finally, because that's a technical platform for somebody, very skilled person to use. And then finally, if you want to go back to your company manager or a line manager or top decision makers, they may not know anything about those things. So finally, you need to go in some platform where everybody is comfortable, that is Excel. So you need to show your graphs, tables, dashboards, etc. Probably finally you have to anyway compelled to come back to Excel. So that's why Excel is very important. So even if you search in Google, comparing different applications and which one is best and the most powerful and most people used and so on, recently the US study, one of the US based logistics industrial studies was confirmed Excel is much in a higher rank for you to handle everything. So, so I'm not oversaying, but then I'm trying to emphasize the importance of this skill. So if you know, I'm pretty sure that you're very confident about handling the numbers, applying the theory what you have learned into calculations and so on. But then small tricks will make you smarter. That is the key. Well, that's why we want to learn this one little more, because you know everybody knows Excel. So we need to know some tricks so that you can perform your task much faster than any others who doesn't have competency in Excel, right? Okay, so if anything I want to say any more about it, I will try to cover where then and there we go. But let's start with the business. The first question is, say there is a second order relationship. Y is equal ax square plus bx minus c, right? If you want to stop me anytime, please put your mic and ask you can interrupt anytime, right? So the relationship is given by parameters A, B, C. Parameters are given by 0.1, 0.5, and 0.4, and so on. And then there are different week of the days, and then the stocks available, and the production is given by Y. So now this is not the big issue for you, but anyway, can you start typing? We need to calculate the Y. X is given to you, right? X is given to you, so you need to calculate the Y. So that's mean in this each day of the week, we need to calculate the production that is given by Y, right? So in any equation, when you want to write some formula, if you are typing any text, you don't need to start anything like that. But if you want to type any formula, either you have to start with the equal sign or you start with the plus sign, whatever. So then the Excel will understand you are trying to calculate something. You are trying to write a formula or a function, right? So in this case, we write our first formula, that is equal sign and so on. Let me go back to here also. You can type equal sign, both places you can edit. So this is the formula bar. Before going into that, let me introduce the basic stuffs over here. Next to your formula, can you see there is a insert function, right? There is a fx function. Fx, if you type, everything what your Excel has as an inbuilt function, everything what the Excel has as an inbuilt function, it's all there. So if you want to see the entire one, under the category, you select the all, and you will see the entire functions here. So if you want anything, you can see here. But mostly, not everybody is using all the functions, because those who are in the finance sector may use some, those who are in the plan, design and engineering and so on will use some. And the common, everybody is using, there are some recommended or commonly used tools. So, not tools, but why I'm popping up this insert function for you, you can just explore by yourself in whenever you have time. You just go through this list and just jot down what are the functions you know already, and what are the functions you think that is little relevant to you, because there is a long list. You may not be able to perform everything in a one day. So whenever you have time and when you want to learn some new function, just go and click and read and go to internet and put the same function key, and you will get some formula and so on. Here there are different categories, say financial, date and time, math and trigonometric, and statistic, lookup and references, databases, text-based functions, logical functions, information, and so on. And so there is a long list. You pick which category you are interested and go on. So that is for you to self-explore yourself. What are the keys you already know and what you want to know as new one, right? So let me write this formula, that is A. A is given here. So A and into is an asterisk mark here. So in the num key, in the number key or shift 8 will bring you the abstract key. And then x square. What is x? The first x value is 100, but I don't type 100, but I give the reference. So that is C9, C10. And this one to the power 2. The power sign is shift 6. Shift 6 will be the power sign, and then 2. So now I have written ax square plus, then the next parameter is b into x minus 4 into, no, that's all, 4, right? So when I enter, sorry, I have written the formula somewhere here, so I will cut the formula. I'm cut the formula and put it here. Right. So once again, I told you then and there, whenever there is a shortcut keys or any hint, I will add on. So what is the hint here? To cut. What is the shortcut? Most of the level other students may know. How about the 20 batch? Probably you might have also learned in ICT modules in your A-level or O-level. So the cut is control CTRL, control plus X. Similarly, copy is what? Anybody? Copy is C for copy. Yeah, thank you. And paste.
Control V.
Control V, very good. So cut, paste. And there is another one, but I'm not pretty sure that, okay, what are the undo? Because that is the command.
Control Z.
Control Z. If we have a undo, there must be another one, redo, right? What is redo? Control? No, control Y. Redo is control Y. So just you don't need to force yourself to by heart anything, but if you're trying to use this, you will get familiar with. Okay, right. So now we have written the formula here, and now when you bring the cursor to the bottom of the corner, then your cursor with the cross, the thick cross become the thin cross, so that Excel is ready to perform something else, right? So when you put the cursor to the bottom right and drag it, it will copy the formulas, what I have written there. But then there are some issues. Why? Anybody? Can you tell why there are some error values comes and what was the mistake where we are doing? Yes, already the answer is in the chat box. Dias Virasinghe, Vikramasinghe, yes. Thank you for that. So when I'm copying, actually what is happening, when I'm copying this downwards or laterally rightwards, what is happening? All my references are changing. Like for example, you see here, I have a stock value 100. And I have ABC reference here with different colors. So if I'm copying this formula rightwards, right, on your right-hand side, along the column, this ABC reference also will start moving with me, right? ABC reference also will start with me. So for example, let me copy this one here and right click this one. Then you can see here, the 100 is also moved by one cell, and ABC cells also moved by one cell. That is not desired to me. That's not what I wanted, right? So when you are moving the cell, there are two ways of moving. One is vertical movement and the lateral movement, column-wise, row-wise, right? So that's why, so I don't want to do this one. So undo, Control Z, right? Now, let me talk about what to freeze and how to freeze, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to vertically copy this one. I'm going to vertically copy this one. So when I'm moving vertically, the stock has to change. The stock has to change. What is stock? C10. C10 also should change with me. So I don't want to change anything to C10, right? Whereas the D5, D6, D7, I want them to change. Sorry, I don't want that to change. So I need to freeze that. So what I have to freeze is it should not go along vertical. So 5, 6, 7 should be 5, 6, 7 should be freezed, right? So you can manually put the $sign that is Shift 4, but then there is a shortcut for that. And there is a shortcut for that. So let me put that in under the shortcut. If you want the $mark to be inserted, what you can do is press F4, function key F4, right? So if you want $mark, F4. So keep pressing F4. Then what will happen is, say for example, the first one is D5, right? So first one, when I press first time, let me show you. I'm putting my cursor to activate the D5. So I'm at D5 position now, and I'm pressing F4. When I press F4, it freezes the column and freezes the row. That's okay for me, but that works for me. But I don't want to do that because we will go back and explore a little more later. So what I want to freeze is the column, sorry, the rows, right? I don't want 5, 6, 7 to be freeze. So I'm pressing F4 again. Then the both $marks vanishes and the $marks comes to the number that is for rows. And if I press again, it goes to the column, leaving the number as changing. And if I press again, it's become the relative number, both relative numbers, so D5. So keep F4 pressing, it will give you all three options. So you can choose what you want. So in my case, what I want, 5, 6, 7, not to change. So I will put twice and enter, right? So now if I copy this one, the formula is correct. If you want to check whether it is correct, again, go back and double click. So you see that it refers to the correct cell ABC and the Sunday stock, and the formula is correct. If anybody has any explanation or how this $sign or why $sign on rows, why not for columns and so on, please raise. Right. So while you are thinking and working on it, I have added a few more questions for you to add on in the same exercise. Say the question number 1, total production in that week. So there are 7 days in the week, and the stocks are there and the productions are there. So very simple, right? Total production in that week. So that means you need to get the total of this one, summation of this one. So either you can go to your home tab. In your home tab, you can see there are a lot of options. So if time permits, we will, within these 3 days, we will try to explore all of this. Under the home, you go to this almost at the end of this home tab, you have Autosum, right? So this Autosum is one, you can just get it activated. But then if you are summing adjacent to your data, then Autosum is the vice versa to do. Otherwise, what you can do is you type your equation as you do. So manually put the sign mark. And you should know, these are some of the syntax you need to know. To get this total or a summation, you need to start typing sum, right? So any formula after a function key, you need to start your bracket. And what you are going to sum, there will be a hint for you. So here what is saying is after sum, the helpline is saying that put your numbers. So don't type numbers by manual, but you just select your column or a row or whatever, and then you enter, you will get the total production in that week, right? Sum. To insert an auto sum, there is a shortcut key also. Let me show that when you keep your cursor here, can you see there is a helpline comes? So there is a sum and the helpline, and there is a shortcut key shown to you. If you want a sum to be inserted somewhere in your cell, what you have to press is Alt plus equal. Alt plus equal. Can you see that? Alt plus equal. That hint is there, right? Okay, so let me try again. So I delete this. So I'm pressing Alt and equal sign. What is happening is Autosum is activating some rows and columns which are not appropriate for me. So what I have to do is I need to reselect what I want. Okay. So if you want, under the shortcut key, you can keep adding to sum. To sum, what you have to do is Alt plus equal sign. Right? Okay, then average production in that week. Okay, so what you will do, you type your equation. Average is average. So you can check as you start typing, it will give you some hints. So which formula you want to use. It's an average, and then select the range what you want and then enter. So you get this one. I don't want this much decimals. So go to a home and then under number tab. So under the home, you have a subdivision called numbers where I reduce the decimals to 1. Okay. Then again, what was the maximum production happened in this week? So you can, now you can, since there is a small number of entries, you can go maximum by manual. But here what we have to do is type the formula, that is max, max, then put the range and enter. Right? Then the next one is similarly minimum, put the range and then enter. So you have found total is sum. So let me put the hint here. This is sum, this is average, this is the maximum, and this is the minimum. So 4 different functions we have used. These are available under statistical function tool here. So if you go to statistical, you will get average, minimum, maximum, and so on. Right. Shall we move on to the next one? Hello.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Can you repeat once that all plus some?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Under the home ribbon, you can see there is a editing tab, right? Last one. Can you?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. When you go on top of the that Autosum, there is a helping line is popping up, and then it shows you the sum is old plus sign, old plus equal sign, old plus equal sign. That is a hint. But anyway, you can type. Say, for example, I'm putting immediately after the column. So I want to get the sum here. So then put your cursor first where you want the sum, and then click on this auto sum. So Excel will automatically select the range, but if you want to defer the range, you can go and defer it. But in this case, Excel is predicting correctly. So I will put the enter, so the answer will come. That is one. If you don't want to go home ribbon and auto sum and so on, so what you can do is where you want the summation, you just select that, and then press Alt and equal sign. Alt and equal sign, if you press together, it automatically is a shortcut key. Then the summation is coming. Got it?
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Let me decorate it. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the second one. I mean, these are our simple example, but I want you to a little bit entertain you with your subject domain. That's why I made it relevant to you. Okay, gravity is given as meter per second square, 10 meter per second square, and the height, the ball or a mass is dropped is at a 50 meter height, and the final velocity and the time taken to fall is asked. The equations are given to you. The final velocity is the square root of 2gh. And time taken to fall is in time is square root of 2h by g. So the equation is given to you, just matter of putting the formula, right? Just matter of putting the formula. So let me put that. So equal sign. How do we type square root in Excel? Anyone? Square root in Excel. I said in the previous exercise, I said if you want the power, you use this mark, right? If you want a power of anything, you put this shift 6. Shift 6, this mark will come. That is the power. So in our case, square root. Square root means what is that? 0.05. This is one way of writing square root, right? What is the square root of 2 into g is 10 into 50, right? So 2gh all in square, the power 0.5. Or there is another way of using the formula, that is square root, sqrt. Sqrt, the inbuilt function is there. So you put sqrt and put the value 2 into 10 into 50, right? So you can either do by this way or this way. Let me put apply the same format here. So copy the format and put it there. Okay. So this one we are using the power sign. This one we are using the power sign. This one using sqrt. Right. Time taken to fall is given by square root of 2h by g. So same formula. So shall I copy that? Control C, escape, and then select the destination where I want to write and retype that, but I will rearrange it. What is the answer? 2GH. So that is 2 into D5, not into H is, sorry, 2H, ne? 2H divided by, that's mean the backslash, division in Excel is backslash by G. Okay. If you want the same thing, you can copy paste. Sorry, you can copy the formula and put it here and rearrange it. That is D6 divided by D5. Understood? Right. Then one may ask why you put D5 and D6 and so on. Why not directly, because the values are given 10 and 50. So why not provide 10 and 50 here? Why not provide 10 and 50 here? Yes, you can do that. You can do that. But only advantage in Excel is, because that is the beauty of Excel, you can keep changing your value and get the answers automatically. So let's say, for an example, suppose if I am dropping from 100 meter, what's the value, right? So you will quickly get it. And somebody say that, okay, 10 is an approximate number, so 9.81, what would be the answer? So you can keep changing and get your answer dynamically, right? That is why we use the reference in Excel. But in some cases, say you have freeze this number and you don't want this to be formula, it is the number, right? You don't want to be formula, but this should be a number. In that case, I don't know whether it's not very useful, but knowing is better, right? So let's say I don't want this velocity because my dropping height is fixed, gravity is fixed. Okay, dropping height, just forget it. My gravity is fixed. That means D5 is fixed. I don't want to keep any more D5. I want to convert this into a value. How do we do that? Can we manually type, or are there any other way to convert this D5 into 9.81? If you press F9, while any reference is selected, if you press F9, the Excel will convert that into the current value. Whatever the value that that particular cell is holding, that converts into that. And after you press F19, if you enter the formula, no more refer to that particular cell. So let me enter. So now if you go and check your formula, it will not be D5. It is 9.81 because you don't want to change that anymore, right? So put it on the hint. So if you want to convert reference to value, what you have to do is press F9, right? So when you press F9, the reference, self-reference is converted to that particular value, right? Okay. There is a little bit of a tricky question is there. Maybe we can do this now, or maybe come back a little after so that it's much more clear. So I will keep this question there. We will come back to you. Right. Exercise 1.3. Exercise 1.3 is a very simple one, but anyway, again, I want to talk about this dollar marks. That's why I put this one. Say multiplication table. Can we fill this table, or have you already done? So multiplication table, 3 into 1, right? 3 into 1. Let's check the answer. That's correct. But then when I'm trying to drag this in this way, what is going to happen? This earlier I was referring to 1, that will go this one, right? So 1 become 2, 2 become 3, 3 become 4 and 5. That's fine. But then this 3 is also moving, right? When I'm moving this one, 3 also start moving this one. Then 3 becomes 6, 6 becomes 18. So actually what is happening is 18 into 4, 72 into 5, 360 into, so that is not what we want. So again, the matter is we need to freeze this one. So absolute versus relative reference, right? So what I want to change is when I am moving along the columns, that is right-hand side, I want to change, I don't want to change this B3. So B3 must be B3. That means B should not change. This column should not change. So in B5, what I'm going to freeze is column B, right? So let me press F4 repeatedly until B is freeze, not 5, B is freeze. Whereas, let me say enter. Whereas now when I'm moving downwards, what I want, 5 becomes 6, 6 becomes 7, 7 becomes 8, 8 becomes 9 and so on. But then this C4, I don't want to change. What I don't want to change, it should be always 4. It should be always 4. So under C4, what I'm going to freeze is 4, not C, right? So the first one, we freeze the B. Second one, we freeze the column, right? We freeze the row. That is, we don't want the cell to be moved away from 4. So I need to freeze the 4. So now if I enter and copy this one, so just check 9 into 10, 90. So that's working. And if you want click this one, you can see 9 and 10 is selected. So if you want to know about the use of the dollar, this example is very important. Use of this dollar marks, right? So it's called relative versus absolute. Relative versus absolute. Anybody have any problem in this one? I mean, if you know this one, you're done with this dollar mark business. Are you all okay with that? Yes? No? Shall we move? We need to be little interactive, please. Okay. There is one question about this capitalization. No, Excel in the formula bar. In the formula bar, Excel is taking both small case and uppercase. Give me a minute. Right. So in the formula bar, it's not necessary to use capital or small, anything will take. So let me change to small b and capital C, let's remain there. Still the formula will work. So in the formula bar, small capital doesn't matter. Formula or function. We can type it both small case or uppercase. Right. Thank you for that question. Anything else? Right. Let's move on. Logical comparison, where I wanted to introduce the if condition and something based on that. So a simple example is, say there is a names are given and the salaries are given, and the basic salary is also given. Everybody has drawing the same basic salary, but there is a bonus scheme is introduced by that company. So what is the bonus? If your sale value is more than 50,000, you will get a bonus of 25,000. So, I mean, it's not very rational, but I just for you to do the calculation. So what we have to do is we need to check the sale value, and wherever more than 50,000, you need to add 25,000 as a bonus, and then get the total salary, right? So can you do that? How do we do? First, you need to compare, right? First, you need to compare the salary with your policy, that is 50,000, right? Compare the salary with 50,000. So when you are comparing something, we usually go for a if condition. So if, then bracket start. So then the helping line comes in and says you, first, you need to type your comparison or a test, what you are testing. And if the test value is positive, what you want to type in that cell. So you type it there. And then Excel also wanted to know, suppose the test is failed, what you wanted to type here, right? So logical test, value if true, value if false. So here our logical test is what? Our logical test is if the salary is greater than, if the sale is greater than 50,000, if the sale is greater than 50,000, if that is satisfied, we need to give a bonus of 25,000, right? If it is not, are we giving any other policy? No. 1 or 0, yes or no, right? So if it is less than 50, we don't give anything, so 0, right? So if the salary is greater than 50,000, give a bonus of 25,000, otherwise 0, right? Then you enter. So that means 17,000, no bonus. Let me drag this one throughout. So you can see 78,000 get a bonus, 90 get a bonus, and 88,000 get a bonus. Then we add these two. You can put sum or you can add manually, whatever. So yes, you can add manually also, or you can put sum. You will get your answer. Right? So the use of if condition, right? So let me copy this one and put it for your help. Right. This is the formula what we have written in this bonus cell, right? If C4 is greater than 50,000, give 25,000 as a bonus, otherwise 0. Clear? Yes. Keep typing in your chat box as well whenever there's a question, so that I know that everybody is following and I'm on face with you. If you want me to slow down, please let me know. If you want a little more time to accomplish the particular task on your machine, let me know. Right. So the same thing, if the company changing the policy, say that if the sale is more than 25,000, because right now 50,000 gets 25,000, but other than that, 0. So maybe the sales people might be complain in the company, and why not we give some other additional incentives and so on. So let's say the policy change. Now the policy changed as the salary if 25,000, 10,000, 10,000 bonus, 50,000, 25 bonus, and more than 75, 40,000 bonus. So that's mean here you have only one if condition, but now here 2 more conditions added on, right? 2 more conditions adds on. So let me put the equal sign and then start typing your if condition. Right. So first one we will start with, okay, if the salary is greater than 75, if the salary is, sales is greater than 75,000, then you get give a bonus of 40,000. Otherwise, then we check whether if it is not 75, then we check whether it is more than 50. So then again, you are creating another if function within that loop and check whether this particular value is greater than 50,000. If that is true, then the bonus of 25,000 is given to them. If not, again, we need to check. So if it is not 25,000, are they above 25,000? So then again, the same sales value will be greater than 25,000. Then you give a bonus of 10,000. Right? So now, even if that is failed, then there is no bonus, 0. Right? If 75,000, then 40,000. If C greater than 50,000, give 20. Yeah, okay. And if C16 is greater than 25,000, sorry, if I forgot to put if condition, right? If C16 is greater than 16, then 10,000. Otherwise, 0. Yes, one more. Yeah.
In the second formula.
Yeah.
Don't we have to use greater than 25,000?
Which one here?
Greater than 25,000 and lesser than 50,000.
You mean the 2 ranges?
Yeah.
Okay, not necessary. Let me come back to that. Yeah, thanks for that. So here, let me draw a T diagram for that. Insert lines. Okay, so let's check that. I'm first checking whether this is greater than 75,000, right? So if it is just, I'm ending here with 40,000 as the bonus, right? So let me say in thousands. So if it is greater than 75,000, bonus is this one. Suppose, say if it is no, what happens? If it is no, then the possibilities are they will be lesser than 75, equal to 75 or less than 75. So that's mean in this case, it is yes. If it is no, what's the meaning? They have less than 75. Then we need to check these two. So first what I will do is, again, I check this one, right? Again, I check whether this is greater than 75, because obviously this link is less than 75. I don't need to check that now, isn't it? Because if it is above 75, I would have gone this path and end there. And now, if it is no, that means this is lesser than 75. So now if I am lesser than 75, then what I am checking is whether it is greater than 50. If that is yes, then we end up with 20,000, 25,000 bonus. Otherwise, if that is also no, if this is also no, then what I'm doing is, so now it is, this link is less than 75. So then again, I am checking whether it is greater than 50, because obviously this link is less than 75. I don't need to check that. So I'm only checking whether it is greater than 50. So if that is true, I end up in 25. If that is no, then I have to go back to again check. Okay, if it is no mean, what's the meaning? It can be less than 50. So I need to go back and check that, right? I need to go and check whether this is greater than 25. If that is true, then I will give 10,000 as the bonus. Otherwise, give 0. Got it? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So you have 3 if conditions. First one, second one, third one. 3 if conditions. So we go by starting from the greater one and then go to the lower one. So if I copy paste this one, then you get a different bonus to this one. Nobody gets 25. That's what is that meaning? Nobody has in that range. Nobody has in that range. Between 50 and 75, nobody is there, right? Yeah, nobody is there. Right. If you want to check that, shall I change the sale value here to say 50? Right. So now this one comes under between 25 and 75. So you get 25,000 bonus. So again, you get sum here, old plus equal sign, old plus equal sign. I don't want the salary to be added. So I manipulate the range. I want only the salary and bonus and enter here. So you will get the total salary as this one. Okay. There is a question on the lower side. Shall we do the lower side also? Yes, possible. Let me try. Let me copy this one and put it somewhere here. So there's a question because I started with the greater one, right? So can we do on the short, smaller one first? Yes, we can. So let me delete this. If what I'm going to do, if the sale value is, so what you need to build the logic here. So you need, if you want to go on the lower side, what I will do is, if it is less than, if this sales less than or equal to 25,000, I don't give anything, right? If it is less than or equal to 25, I don't give any bonus, right? Otherwise, it's greater than. Then I check if, right? Then the next check will be if that particular sale value, if the sale value is less than or equal to 50,000, then I'm giving above 25, less than 50, so 10,000, right? If the sale value less than or equal to 50,000 is already given, so 75,000. If it is less than 75,000, mean between 50 and 75, we are giving bonus of 25,000. If not, obviously it is greater. So greater mean 40,000. Sorry. If condition should be correct, right? Yeah, can you compare 40, 10,000, 10,000, 25,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 40,000, correct? Only thing is you can choose whatever, but then the logic must be there. So how you are going to grow your logic. So if you understood the structure, both can be possible. Who was that? I think. Are you okay with that? Tisara?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right. Okay, then let's move on to the exercise 2.2. This again the if condition, but Excel has some other way of doing this particular problem, but here we are doing the if condition. So similar to the previous one, can you all try that? So let's say different people got the marks is given here, and the institutional policy is above 75 is A, above 60 is B, above 50 is C, and above 40 is D. Anything anything less than 40 is fail. So can you identify what the marks these students are getting? Can you try? The same equation what we have done here, right? So what we will do is equal if condition, if the marks is C4 greater or equal 75. If it is greater or equal 75, you put A. But when you put A in the formula, you need to be very careful because if you just put A, Excel doesn't know anything about A. So you need to tell that this is a text. So I'm putting within the double quote because A is a text. Otherwise, the Excel will search for what is the value is A and it gives an error, right? So what I'm saying is if C4 is greater or equal 75, I put A. Else, I'm checking again. Else C4 greater or equal, greater or equal 60, then it is B. Otherwise, C4 greater or equal 50, then it is C, right? Otherwise, if C4 greater or equal 40, then it is D. If not, you don't need to check anything because we have reached here. So after that, you don't need to check anything. Everybody else will F. So else F. Right? So you can copy paste the same formula here. You will get different grades according to the scheme. right? Got it? Maybe I will put this formula here for you to refer. C4 is what? C4 and C3. C3 is what? Can we both C3 and C4? Tisara, there's a question from you, but I didn't understand. Can you ask the question?
So I mean, instead of using C4, can't we add marks column C3 with the equation?
C3 with the equation. We are using C3, right? C3 means C3 is a marks, yes. I think I missed your question. C3 is the heading, right?
Okay.
Hello? Right. Right. So now that is about the if condition, but then I added on one more function called rank. So probably some of you might have used already. So let's say there are different people and we want to rank them. Who is the first and second and third? And so we want to have a class rank. So then in Excel, we have a rank function, R-A-N-K rank. So you can use the rank function and start the bracket. And you just put the entire, so it needs for our number. So I want this person, the Lucas, what is the rank? But then we need to give an array, right? We need to give a reference out of whom. So we will give the entire sheet. We will give entire sheet, entire range, and then close. But then, so let me. So if you select this person, you can see that Lucas is out of this all. Lucas is a 7th rank according to his marks 57. But then if I want to copy that to everyone, then there is an issue. Why? Let me select this one. Let me select this one. So this Fenton is 48, that's fine. But the range is changing, right? So I don't want that to happen. So we need to freeze the range. So let me go back to the original one. C4 is okay. I want that to be freely allowed. So the range I want to freeze. So what I'm saying is I'm selecting the range and I'm putting the numbers. The row numbers should not change. So I will put 4 and 12 should not be changing, right? So I put the dollar mark by pressing F4 and then Enter. Now, if you copy paste and select whether that is working fine, yes. So the reference range is freezed and the individual number is changing, so it's working fine. So now you can see here, the first person, the according to the marks, the class first is Fiona, right? So we have learned a new function that is called rank. Right. Let's move on. Little bit of a tricky one. Let's see. Okay. Again, logical comparison. What is the question? Okay. Now let's say sales ID is given. And say, for example, a supermarket has morning to from the morning, they are giving some ID, the first customer, second customer, fourth customer, and so on. And the customer ID is given, and sales amount is also given to you. Now, let's say the supermarket has a policy, a gift policy. Every 10th customer is given a small gift, right? Every 10th customer as a random base. Every nth customer here in this particular case, n is 10. So that means we need to identify 10th customer. So 10 is very easy to identify. So let's change this to 8. Right. So every 8th customer, I need to give a gift. Anybody, can you tell how do I identify every 8th customer? Anyone? Okay. There is a question, rank function. While others are thinking about it, let me go back to the exercise 2.2, the rank function. Delete everything. So when you put the equal sign and rank, the hint is there, rank. It asks for a number. It asks a particular number, which marks you want to rank, right? And then it's a reference. There is a reference. So reference means there is an array of marks, right? So let's say 10 people or 100 people or 200 people marks are there. Out of that, you want to pick one marks and see where the rank is, what the rank of that particular marks. So there are two inputs you have to give. One is, okay, Lucas mark is given. And then we need to give the entire marks array, so that then only we can have the rank. So when we put rank, the number and the reference, then enter, you will get the rank. But now when I move this one, when I move this, the first cell, copy this cell downwards, this marks also to be changed. So C4, I don't want to change anything because as I am going down, this also has to be go down. C4 becomes C5 and so on. But then this range, we should not change. So I put the freezing by pressing F4 so that the number 4 and 12, that means the row numbers are not changing. Row numbers are freezed. And enter, and then copy. You will get the relevant numbers, right? Where was that? Did I answer your question, Nasri? Let's move to the question that we are thinking of. Say, what I want is every 8th customer, right? Every 8th customer, we need to give a gift. Say, for example, in this case, if I go by manual, what I will do is I pick this person, then 16 will be picked, so that the multiplication of the 8 will be picked. But then when there is thousands of data, you don't need to, you can't, right? So then can you just say, can you just identify any methods in Excel to identify every 8th cell? Every 8th cell. Anyone? Rows array divided by 8. Okay, we can do that, but then okay, we will get some from decimal numbers also, right? A good start, but we need to do some extra works. we can start with that. There is another one says count. Count is, how do we count? Because we need to identify these eight rows and then start doing any calculations, right? Okay. So why I put this question is Excel will have, certainly will have some formula, some formula. But then as we know little bit of a math and trigonometry and so on, right? So wherever possible, we need to apply that. So if I want to know, say, every eighth cell, what is the logic must be? Like, for example, this is not 8, right? This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there was one message I have seen, divide this number by 8, right? So let me put it here. Let me insert some columns here. And then let me divide this one. So simply divide this order number by 8, right? Right. Now see, how do we do? Now you can see here, these are decimal numbers, but when the 8 comes is 1, then the second 8 comes, it become 2, and third 8 comes become, what it is, 2, then this one is 3. So these are the 8th ones, right? So we need to do something with 8, right? We need to do something with 8. But then how do we differentiate? Because now we are doing manual. How can we tell Excel to say, this is the number that we need to pick? Any thought about it? Okay, there are different ways is coming up. Right. So now we need to find out which one is the whole number. Or in other words, what we can say is, if you divide one number with another number, divide a number, say A divided by B, right? If B is the multiplier of, A is the multiplier of B, then you get whole number. That means, shall I say that no reminders, right? So the whole number, divide by whole number, there is no reminders. So there is an Excel function to do that. That is mod function, MOD, mod function. If you are not sure about, go to the function and type MOD, and you will get the mod, and you will get the definition also. What is mod? Returns the reminder after number is divided by a divisor, right? So when you divide a number by a divisor, the reminder will be there. So in that case, let's say equal sign. What is the function? Mod function. So I'm going to type the mod function, and then what's the number I'm going to divide is the 1 divided by which number? By 8, right? By 8 I'm going to divide, right? So if I, sorry, not division by comma, sorry. Number is B4, division is L4, and enter. So what is happening? You are getting the division, the reminder. So when you divide 1 by 8, you can't, because it's a lesser than 8, so it is 1. Give me a So where we stopped, yeah. So the reminders. So let's say I'm going to copy this one, but only problem is this 8 should not change. So let me freeze that, F4 and enter, and then copy this one, right? So now what happens is if you copy this one, right now this cell is in the accounting under the home, number format is in accounting. So let me change to general so that it's become the reminders. So now you see the pattern. Now you see the pattern. What happens is whenever the division number is occurs, no reminder. Okay? Whenever the division number is happening, no reminder. Let me change this one to 9. Right? So if I change this one to 9, then what happens is each 9th will be 0. Each 9th will be 0, not 8 now, right? So similarly, you can do dynamically changing. So go back to 8. So this is 0. Now, how many occurrence or any other question, what you can do is you can count, right? So let me delete this one. Let me delete this one. I'm putting mod function here, right? I'm putting the mod function to this cell. So you get this one. So now I can easily identify wherever the 0 is happening. Those are the 8 cells. Those are the 8 cells, right? So let me go back to the question. Every nth customer will receive a small gift. Then the second policy is, regardless of being nth customer, if a sale value is greater than 75, if a customer is buying a stuffs more than 75,000, again, we need to give a gift. So that's mean, let's say more than 75,000 category. So more than 75,000 category also I need to identify. So how do I identify that? You have the sale value. Maybe you can put a formula here, if condition. If the sale value greater than 75,000, then you count them. You count them. So maybe you can create your own value. Say I'm putting, if they are receiving a gift, I will put 1. If they are not, I will put 0. But in my case, I am going to count zeros for the mod function. So let me say, if they are more than 75, I am saying 0, otherwise 1. I mean, you can put vice versa also, but let me go for that. So now what is happening is, wherever 0, they are more than 75. Now we have 2 different columns for 2 different criteria. 2 different columns for 2 different criteria. The question is, how many customers will receive the gift? How many customers will receive the gift? What I want to use is a count function. So we need to use the count function, but under some condition, right? Count function, but under some condition. What condition? If it is 0. If it is 0, we are counting, right? If it is 0, we are counting, right? So let me put this additional column, right? I'm creating a column for a satisfaction. So this is the column where satisfy both conditions. So what I'm going to do is, you can do many different ways. You can do if conditions, you can do sum, and so I'm going to do sum a different way. Just check whether it is okay. I'm going to sum this one and put it there. So now say, sorry, sum mean it will vanishes, right? So you cannot use the sum. So then let's use multiplication, because I need zeros there, right? I want to count zeros there. So let me say I multiply this by this one, right? So when I multiply this one, wherever zeros, either here or here, you will get zero. Either here or here, you will get zero. That means that person gets the gift, right? You can do this way, or you can use any other methods also. Let's say if you can check, like if this is zero, you can use even, there are different ways of doing. Say either column E or column F is zero, right? Shall I use O function? What is the O function meaning? Logical, we are comparing two different logic simultaneously. So O, what is O? Either this one is equal to zero, or this one is equal to zero, right? If both conditions, if either conditions are satisfying, that's why we are using O, right? If either conditions are satisfying, I put zero, otherwise one. So you can see here, you can do your calculation in any way, but the logic must be correct, right? The logic must be correct. So you can use simply multiply because we are counting the zeros, or you use the logical function, that is logical comparison, to calculate how many zeros, right? So let me put this as a condition one, satisfaction condition one, or maybe we can use some other methods too. And finally, you can use either one. So let's use the satisfaction 2. So I'm going to count, but not just counting, I'm counting zeros, right? I'm just counting zeros. So count if. What is the count I'm going to do? I'm going to count this entire range. So I'm going to count entire range, comma, but I'm going to count is zero, right? So that's mean 34 customers will receive, out of 100 sales, 34 customers will receive a small gift. Clear? Yes. That's why very good to see that different approaches are proposed in the chat box. You can use anything. I mean, there are different tools available, so you're free to use, right? So as long as the logic and the application is correct, you can use those formulas. Fine. Happy to note that there are alternative ways you are proposing. Thank you. Right. Shall we continue? Anybody want any logic or any discussion on this one? Right. If you are interested, maybe we can do something. In an array formula. I don't know whether I want to confuse here by using array formula. Anyway. Okay. There is an array formula is available. So let me introduce, but I'm not going to do here. There is an array formula. So using array formula, you don't need to create any of these columns. Straight away, you can get the answer. Straight away, you can get the answer. So I will leave that for today because don't want to overload you now. Maybe next week we will cover that. Right. So slightly, I'm moving on to a little bit of a different area. That is the text function. So you might have already used. So some probably maybe you may be new to this one, but it's very simple. It's very simple. So let's say this example. Title is given as a Mrs. and then the first name is Andrian and the last name is Douglas, right? So for some reason you want to combine, because I don't want this to be in a separate cells, separate columns. So I want to combine this all as a one, that is Mrs. Andrian Douglas, right? Anybody, can you say how do we do that? Any method? Yeah. Thank you, Dylan. Concatenate. There is an inbuilt function in Excel, concatenate. So let me type here. Concatenate. So once you start typing, it's the helping line comes. So I double click on that. So concatenate. So what is the meaning? You have more than one text, but you can combine more than one text. You can combine. So let me say what I want to combine. I want to combine the column B, comma column C, comma column D, right? So the text in column B, text in column C, text in column D, I want to combine. So it comes as Mrs. Andrian Douglas. But there's a small adjustment I need to do, because after the Mrs. dot, I need to have a space. And then after the first name and the last name also, I need to have a space. So in Excel or in any most of the programming languages, you use a double quote for a text function or a text, right? Double quote. So when you use double quote, it's represent the text. So if you want to use anything in double quote, you can put it within the double quote. So you can use any text within the double quote, it takes as a text. So in this case, I want to add some space, right? I want to add some space. So what I will do is just add one space and put the double quote. So this one is a single space. So what I will do is B4 is a text. So in between, I want to add one other text by manual. I'm going to add a space, right? So B4, after that, I'm putting this space. And then C7, after that, I am putting another space. Then D7. So now B7 is there. Then there is a space I have added. Then first name, then the space I have added, and then the last name. So now if you enter, it comes in the proper way. Correct? Okay. I forgot to tell you how many, how many names in this table? Anybody? How many names in this table? Can you please answer? 200. Okay. Can you tell me how do you get it 200? I mean, it's a simple question. So let me go back. So here I have the column, I have the table. So I go to the first one and then click the mouse or click on your laptop keyboard and then dragging, right? Dragging to the end. Dragging to the end. Okay. Now you can see at the bottom of my cursor, at the bottom of my cursor, it says 200R into one column. What I have selected is 200 row and one column. So that's mean you can say that the entries in this table is 200. So I'm releasing now. I'm releasing the mouse now at the correct point. Now there's another way of founding is there's a count here. The lower right bottom of your Excel, you have a count which is 200. So that is second way. That's fine. Now, what I wanted to tell you is this dragging and scrolling business is not very good in Excel when you have more number of data, right? When you have more number of data, you cannot keep dragging here because it takes a lot of time for you, right? It takes a lot of time for you. So I want to give some shortcuts keys. I should have put it the early exercises, but anyway. So the shortcut key is if you want to jump down, to the next empty cell, what is the shortcut? If you want to jump, say I will delete this doctor here, right? So if my current cursor is at the first row, I want to jump to here. How do I do? Without using mouse click. What is the shortcut? Because knowing those shortcuts is much easier for you to work with a large data. So let's say Control, CTRL, Control plus. You have the arrow keys, right? In your keyboard, you have left arrow, right arrow, up and down. So if you put down, Control down. So let me check that. So I'm taking the first entry, that is Mrs. and Control down. You can see here, my selection has gone down to this one because this is an empty cell. So it goes to the next empty cell, right? So from here, if I press Control down, it goes down, right? So that is one. If I want to select and go down, so jump down with selection, then what I should do? So if I want to not only jumping, but I want to go down by selection, right? So in that case, what I have to do is Control down with the shift. So shift, Control shift down. So I'm pressing Control shift down. See what happening is it's selecting everything until the next empty cell. Now you can see I have selected here in the bottom, I have selected 8 columns, sorry, 8 counts. That's mean 8 rows are selected. Now I will remove this one and put the doctor back, right? So now what I will need to do, if you want to know how many rows are there, just select the first one, then Control Shift down, then I am there. Go to the counting portion here and you will see 200 cells are there. If I want to go back to my home, Control Home. If I want to go back to Control Home, unfortunately my home button is not working, but you check in your machine, Control Home is take you to the very first cell of your Excel. So I will put that also. Before that, I will copy paste these ones. So if you want to go like right. If you want to go right, then become right. If you want to select and go right, then again the same, shift and right. right? Similarly, you can use up key, down key, everything you can use. One other thing is if you want to go up, again the up. But special key is if you want to go home, that means after searching, you want to go back to your original, say, very first cell, then control, go home, that is C1, sorry, A1 is CTRL plus control plus home. Okay, right, let's come to the business. Delete this empty. Right, now you have data, and what I can do is I can copy paste, or you can just double click here so that it will copy everything to the entire table. So I'm double clicking so that you will get the entire data filled, right? So to check that, let me say control down key, I'm go to the, I went to the last column, right? If I want to go up, then control up, and came to the first column, right? Control down, control shift down. Yes, thank you. Okay, now in addition to the concatenate function, there is another one which is also easy to use. Let me copy paste this one. The first one what we have used is the function called concatenate, right? So I have used concatenate function. There is another sign is this and sign. So we can use and sign to join the text also, right? Some people feel that is much easier. So same thing we can do. What we can do is equal sign. First text I have to combine is the Mrs. Then I put and sign. Instead of comma and writing concatenate and so on, we just use cell value and then and sign. Then I want to put some space over there, then put the and sign, then use the second cell. Again and sign, and then use your another space there, then use the dark plus. So here we didn't use concatenate function, but instead you use and sign, right? So that's also gives you the same same effect, right? Combining text, more than one text, right? Now let me go back to this second question, 1, 2, right? 1, 2, what is the question? So let's say, for example, you have given with this equation and so on, and then you need to have a small report kind of small dashboard or a report, right? So what is there? Let me put it this way. So make the below report dynamically change with 2 input parameters G and H changes. So when the G and H is changes, your T and B is also changing. Velocity and time is also changing. Now the report format is given to you. Report formatting is when a mass is dropped freely under gravity of some gravitational force from a height of some height, the mass reaches the ground in XX seconds and YY meter per second speed, right? So can anybody tell how do we do this reporting part now combined with these numbers? As we discussed now in the concatenate or an and sign function, you can use here, right? So let me show you how I am going to change. This is the existing text you have, right? This is the existing text you have, right? Now I want to convert this into an equal sign as a function, and then I put this as a text, right? So my text goes up to here. If you don't understand, please let me know. So this AA I want to change, right? AA I want to change as the gravity. So gravity. So no more AA. And I put the sign and sign, right? So this is one text. Then there is another text. Then the second text is starting here. Up to BB, I can go. But then BB, I don't want to keep it as a BB. BB is what? The height, right? And sign. Then goes, what is the next changing value here, right? And sign. And I delete the X and put it, what is that? H, right? Reaches the ground in seconds, so time. This one. And sign. And seconds with the speed of, and then Y also will change, so and sign, and then the speed and sign, and I close the bracket, close the text. Got it? Wherever the changing values, I have added the Excel cell references, and the remaining text I converted into a text within the quotes. If you enter that, you will now have, say, this one. So when a mass is dropped freely under gravity of 9.81, it's automatically changing. So let me put 10 here. 10 here, you will get 10 here. From a height of 100 meters, the mass reaches the ground in, what is this? 4.7211. So I don't want this to happen. So how do we reduce the decimal points in an Excel? Anyone? Rounding function, very good. So we will add the rounding function there itself. So we will add the rounding function there. Where is the speed? It is the speed, right? So this is the speed. So before adding there, I will explain you the rounding function here. So we are adding one more function called round. Round, there are different functions. There round up, round down, and flows, and there are so many different characters are there. But let's say the simple round. So round function is, let me copy this. Let me copy this and put it here. Right. Right. Now I am going to do the rounding. Okay. Let's give some highlight over there. Right. Round. So what I'm going to do is I have a formula. So better not to have formula, just an answer. Right. So I want to round this one. So what I will do is I round, R-O-U-N-D, round. There are 3 different options available: round, round down, round up. So I don't want to use up and down. So I will just use round. What is the number? This one, right? The velocity, which is in the decimal places. So I click this one. And then it asks a number of digits. How many number of digits you are going to? So velocity, let's say, it's in meter per second. So let me say there are 2 decimals, right? And then the next one also, I want to go for a round the time. So the time value is in second. So in second, I don't think we have a decimal is making sense. So I will make 0, right? So 4 seconds. So similarly, what I will do is I keep this formula there. So let me check that. So which one is, yeah, this is our grounding speed. So this is our speed. So what I will do is round, the rounding number is D4, comma, to the decimal of 2, right? And then here I will do round to the decimal of 0. And you enter now, you have a neat report saying when a mass drops freely from a gravity of 10 meters per second square from a height of 100 meters, the mass reaches the ground in 4.47 seconds with speed of 44 meters per second. So you do the calculation. Usually what we do is we use the Excel for calculation, but we never use the Excel for reporting. Then we copy the formulas and then we transfer to the Word, where the word and then connectivity goes wrong. If you want to change the number, then report has to be changed again manually. So I feel like if you don't do any sophisticated reporting, you can compile your report also in Excel and take a printout. So for example, let's say you have these all numbers now ready, and say for example, you put it here and you go to the view and take a page break view, and then that's it. So rest of the calculation is not matter to you. You take this portion and change whatever the number you want, the report change accordingly, right? Right. Let me go back to the normal view. Right. We were there at here, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
When I change this as D8 or something instead of the words, but it couldn't work. Why is that?
Which one? Which one? Sorry.
Yeah, sir. When we change the text as the cells on that paragraph, when a mass is dropped freely under the gravity.
Yeah.
At the very first, we changed, no, sir.
You mean the converting to this one?
So that paragraph text function.
This one. You are referring exercise 1.2 or this one? Didn't get you. Are you referring this table? Sorry, this paragraph. We missed him. Hello? Hello? Has he went off due to connection, or? I didn't get the question, but anybody got it correctly? Yeah. Are you raising any questions? Hello. Okay. Anyway, I'm available. Please come back with the question. We will switch to, right. Okay, so now we have considered how to combine the two different texts, and now in this 1.2, this paragraph method, what we have done is we have exercised not only text with text with numbers also combine and make it more compatible and to report anything in Excel itself, right? So use that technique. Shall we go on? Not very much related to Excel, but anything you should be able to do using those few functions, right? So in this case, actually this text function and this table is no connection, but I'm bringing that because I wanted to bring that concept first and then apply here. Okay, so it's just an example. It's just an example. So let's say there is a sales ID is given to you and the sales value is given to you. So somebody is interested about finding the cumulative sales. What is cumulative sales? So the first one is 16,157. The second one is 50,650. So I want to know what is the cumulative. That means 16 plus 50,000. Then that is this one. Then I want to know what is now the cumulative. At the second sale, the cumulative sale is 66,000, but the third sale is 68. So I want to add this and this. Then put it here. Then the next stage, this and this, put it here. So what we need to do, there will be a small difference because the formula right starting from second to rest will be different to this one because the for the first sale, there is no meaning for the cumulative sale. It's an equal, right? So what I will do is first one is same as the previous one. Sorry, the same as that one. But the second equation in the second cell, what I want to do is second sale plus what is currently available, what is current cumulative, that is 16,000. So if I put the summation, what happening is the current sale and the previous cumulative, current sale and the previous cumulative I'm adding. Now, if you copy this one, what happens is, let's say, current sale and the previous cumulative, current sale and the cumulative. So it's working fine, right? So let me double click to get everything. So at the end of the 30 sales, your total sale is 1,406,000. If you want to get that here, you can put Autosum, that is old plus equal sign, and enter, right? So that's mean the summation of individual sale must be the last entry of the cumulative. That's fine, right? Okay. So now I want to use that technique for something else. I want to use this technique for something else. So let me put it in a different color and then take that equation for you to just to recall. Right. So what I did here is I'm adding D5 and the C6. Now, can somebody tell me, I want to populate a number like this, an array like this. Say, I want to have a range of arrays starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, and like this. So the n number may be changing. So n number is changing, right? So let me say n number is, in this case, 100. Sorry. In this case, 100, right? So how do you going to populate this? Are you going to type manually 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 100? Anyone? You understood the question, no? What is the need in your case? Hello? I hope it's approaching the lunchtime. So, I mean, if you don't interact, I don't know whether you are stuck or you doesn't get it. The question. Can somebody tell? Have you understood the question?
So can you explain it again?
Which one? The cumulative function or a question?
Question.
Question. Okay, good. So, say for an example, in some array functions and some other business, sometimes we need to create this. We need to create this 1, 2, 4, this kind of a number range. Let me start with a smaller number, 5. So I want to have 1, 5. So this one I need to populate. So if it is 5 numbers, I think very easy to type by manual rather than looking for any formulas or any tools, right? But when the number goes 50 and 100 and 1000, it has a problem, right? So you need to use at least something to populate this range, right? So my question is, how do we populate this using what you have learned so far, or using your Excel knowledge? Anyone?
Can add 1 to the cumulative sum?
We can add 1 to the
Cumulative sum. Like, for example, 1 is there and you add 1 to that, you get 2. Then after that, you can add 1 to that cumulative sum and go on.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Let me bring this formula out to the other side so that you can keep it there. And let me add one more to keep that other side. Okay. Clear everything. Okay. So right now we have done the cumulative kind of equation to sum this cumulative function, right? Now the similar pattern you can do here. Similar pattern you can do here to populate this one. Say for example, right now we have this 1, 2, 3. So you may think why I want 1, 2, 3. Okay. Forget about this sale business. Let me populate the fresh data, right? So if I want to do some series, say 1 to 50, right? So I want to populate 1 to 50. So I did it. So I hope you have seen that. Sorry. If you want to populate some number for some purposes, say you're making yourself ready for 100 entries to be done or 200 entries to be done, you can keep typing, right? So one way of doing is you may start typing 1 and then 2 and then 3. And then you select this one and then start dragging. So, but this is more time consuming and you need to watch full where the 50 comes and then you stop there, right? But that is not the wise ways to do. So you, under the home ribbon, under the editing, there is a filling button is there. So you use the fill button and go to the series and give the numbers. It will give you the 50 numbers. So I have populated the 50 numbers now, right? So now, as she mentioned, so what I want to do is I want to populate this one. So what I will do is, as I did for the cumulative, first one is remain there. First one is remain there, 1. Now I want to add this 1 with the 2, 1 with the 2. So I'm going to do the text addition. So first one is the 1, right? Then I want a comma, right? So within inverted commas, I put a comma, right? Sorry, H5, and then I join with the and sign, and then I make a comma there. Then I add with the second one. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding 1 with 2. So 1, 2, right? Now if I drag this one, what happens? The current text is 1 and 2, and you will add the comma 3, right? You will add comma 3, and you will add comma 4, comma 5, right? So if you want to stop at 10, I write up to 10 and then drag this formula. You will have 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. So if you want to continue to up to 50, if you want to continue up to 50, then you can just type and then copy this one and copy this one and put it in wherever you want. Say for example, now it is in the formula, so you can put it in text. One other tip says now this one is a function, right? Formula. So if you want to copy that into a text, you can copy and paste it, say here, copy and paste it as a text. So now you don't have any formula. What I wanted is there. 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. Got it? Probably you may wonder why I want this one in future when you use array formulas and so on. Sometimes this is very useful. Right. Okay. Can I just quickly have your reflect? Is that understood? Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Sorry?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Right. So far so good. Exercise 4.1. 4.1 is a lookup function. How do you feel? Shall we stop here or we want to continue? Now the time is 12:30, almost 12:30. Right. Maybe I will take this to the next class. Right. So before finishing this today's session, I think I have given you the link also in the Excel resources. So there are many different resources available. You can just click on these different links and see how many people are using, putting up some free material available for you to explore and expand your knowledge. Whenever you want anything, you just Google it. Definitely there will be an answer and you can build on based on that. So I just put the top 10 resources here, but you will have many more there. And then I was started with, I wanted to do something on the sales table, and probably using the control down key, you can see how many entries are there. 2,000 entries are there in this sales report. So we will be using that in the next class to play around with data, how do we extract based on name, sales, salesperson or deliverer, supplier, etc., etc. So that we will do next class. So before winding up, if you have any question, clarification, or any suggestion for tomorrow, next week one, please express verbally or in chat. Yes, I think Dylan is recording this, so yeah, he will share that to you. Even I would like to have, yeah. Right.
So how to fill with the series?
Which one?
That fill with the series, that fill function.
Yeah, fill function. Let me go back. Fill function is here, right? Right. So let's see. I want to put some numbers here. I want to put some numbers here, say from 1 to 20. So when you have less number, you can even manually do, right? So let's say for example 1, 2, 3, and you can drag it. You can drag it because you know you have a control here. But then when you want more numbers, when you want more numbers, say 50, 100, 200, then it is always easy to use that series. So what I am doing is I started with the starting number, and then under the home editing, you have a fill. Then under fill, you have say series, right? So when you go series, there are different options available. whether you want to go, you want to populate 50 numbers along the column or along the rows, that you can select. So now we want along the rows, and then we want the steps. So we want the increment is 1, and the stopping value is say 100, right? Stopping value is 100. Then you will get sorry, what is happening? Sorry, it went other way around. So it's along the rows. Let me undo, and where it is. Something went wrong. Okay, let me redo. Fill series along the column 100. Put the values. So you will get up to 100. So if you want to check, just select the first one and Control Shift down. You will get 100 filled. Clear?
Yeah, sir. Okay, thank you.
Right. Any other questions? So how can you just tell about whether it is fast, slow, good enough, useful, or anything you wanted to bring it different? You can feel free to express so that I can just adjust it to the next class. And since you are talking about this filling function, so let me go back to this Excel, where it is, name function here. Yeah. So let's add one more thing for you here, since that is relevant to you. Let me insert here. Okay. So let me say, now I want to split this into, going back. So let's say, for example, you have been given with title, first name, last name, and you created this one. Now, let's say, for example, you have been given with this one, but you want to go back to title and say name and first name. How do you do? Anyone? Any guess? Let me copy this one. Let me copy. There are many ways, but let me do something. Let me copy this and put it into the value, and let me delete all the names and keep the Mrs. only, and then again copy and keep the, I'm doing manually. Yeah, the first one I'm doing manually and put it there, and then the last name also I'm deleting the rest and keeping the manual one. So let me say, now I have done the first one manually, right? I have done the first one manually. Now the latest version means this 2016 Excel is a little more intelligent to do that. Of course, the 365 is also there. So here, what we will do is, since you have a pattern of name and you have created this one, now there is a flash fill. Flash fill mean it's look at the pattern and reproduce this one, like kind of this AI, artificial intelligence, and so on. So the data is looking at the pattern and doing the same operation. So for an example, let's say I want to have flash fill, right? So when I do the flash fill, what I am doing is, once I give one example, Excel is trying to mimic what I did, right? Using flash fill. Let me put it here, flash fill, right? So when I flash fill this one, it's trying to mimic. So similarly, you can put here also flash fill, and here also flash fill. So you will get Dr. Robert Lloyd. So but Excel is trying to do what I'm doing. But if the pattern is different, then Excel will get confused, right? So then you may not get the exact answer what you want. So in that case, you may not be able to use the flash fill. You may have to use something which is logical, which we will do next time. Right. Thanks for that question. Ravindu is saying text to column. Yes, you can use text to column. So probably we will touch upon that next time. Text to column for under data, you have a whole lot of informations available. Text to columns and even flash fill is available and so on. And under the home, you have this conditional formatting, which is one of the nice way of representing your data and analysis. So that also we will do next class, next session. Yeah. I mean, actually, this I'm touching here and there to explore or make you aware there are a lot of things available, but definitely may not be able to go into the detail because it has a vast form of information are there. Useful tips, tools are there. Even this under this find and go specials also there are a lot. So we will try at least to say, and more than just listening to me, I would like to hear from you. Okay, I used Excel for say in my assignment or in my industrial training or in my my own work. I have used this one, but are there any way to use it better or a smarter way to do it? I love to hear from you that you have tried, and we both explore whether we can do it smartly, right? So this doing smart is my intention, because otherwise the given time and the resource, everybody can perform, but within the given time, how fast you are doing is the matter. Right. Thank you for the continuous listening, and thanks for the active participants. At least few have interacted. I would like to see more and more interaction in the future. And also take a little bit of a time, doesn't matter. But then whatever we have done, why don't you try to complete and resend to me through the same email with the subject. Put your name, index number, and date, index number, and your name, as I indicated in your email also. So when you are submitting, otherwise I need to search all the emails that might make me trouble. So put it date 2021.08.05. Don't change that one. So 2021.08.05. That has to be there. Then you add your ID and the name. So if everyone follow the same type subject, that would be much easier for me. Please do that. Then you can use the same in your Excel file also. So subject must be in that one. And also the file name also you can rename to the same. Okay, so we will bring that to end. Dylan, would you like to say anything?
Yes, actually, I would like to thank you because when we go to the industry, only we understood how Excel is more important than when we are doing assignments and all. I think it's really important to our junior badges also to learn those tricks and the methods to use Excel. And I think in next 2 sessions, there will be more participants than this. And yeah, so let's meet on next week. Thank you.
Okay, so particularly from your batch, Dylan, I would like to see like if you can bring some task what you have performed in the industrial training without putting the names, make it a little bit of an anonymous, and bring some or table the challenge what you faced by different people. If you can share that without the institutional name and your name and so on, we can try to show them these are the problems and how you solve it.
Okay, so I'll arrange it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dilan, and thank you everyone.